Well, hello, good evening, and welcome to the America First Abilene podcast. This is Chris Turner. I am Jason Wilson. Tonight, we've got a number of topics to cover, including among them new data center incoming, red alert on that, Fauci's miscarriage of public health. We're going to talk some about flock surveillance on the American public, Trump's vaccine executive order, the rise of America First, and the downfall of the MAGA movement, which I really think it's a conversion. I don't think it's a really two different groups. I think it's kind of people are changing because the circumstances have changed. Trump's legacy, and also I would like to get a little bit into some of this. Before Jeffrey Epstein, there were some things going on I think people should know about. We're going to get into a little bit of a deep dive on the entire question about pedophilia and criminality going on at the highest levels of our government. Kind of some deep politics. That'll be at the end. We got some local stuff to go over first, though. Chris has some information on possibly a new data center threat to our area here.
Yeah, and this came out from a local Republican former precinct chair that had asked the question, what's going on with this new data center here?
Yeah.
And I said, what new data center? Because I hadn't heard of it. Well, there came out an article in the Texas Tribune that had kind of covered it. And so I did the research and just kind of as much as is out there. So this is, it's labeled as a new AI data center project near Abilene. Well, on July 20th, 2026, PowerPlay AI company and Sharon AI engaged in a joint venture, and they announced formally that they had already bought some property, the land, and they had already started the process, and they had plans to initially start a 400 megawatt data center near Abilene, and then they're going to build it bigger from there. But that they said it was going to be here by 2028 is what they're saying. And so I went in and looked at, obviously trying to find out where it is, what it is, and all that. And here's the Cliff Notes version for people who are uninformed about it. Let's see. So on Sharon AI, that's an Australian cloud. Like that's what they do is it goes to the cloud, your information, and they store it. That's what they claim to do, at least.
Sure. And
so they're out of Australia, and they have stuff in Asia. They really don't have much in America. They started in 2024, their company. And so they offer the cloud storage solutions and AI training, interface, all that kind of stuff is what they say on their, and they're in part, they've been in the works. Their cloud partner is NVIDIA. I don't know if you know who they are, but
no, I don't.
Some people know them. And their CEO was James Manning. And then the power side of that is PowerPlay AI. So they're the ones going to be responsible for the data center development, security in the sites, figuring out natural gas infrastructure, and the behind the meter generation, they call it, to deliver the power. Because see, what happened with Governor Abbott's latest thing is
moratorium.
It's not a moratorium. They had to jump through a couple more hoops to get with ERCOT, on the electric grid.
Okay.
Well, this is trying to say, and I'll get into exactly what they said later, but basically they're saying we're going to use gas infrastructure through various forms. So their roles in the project are pretty clear cut. PowerPlay AI is going to handle all the development side, and the AI side infrastructure is going to come from Sharon AI. So the press release is intentionally very vague that they put out.
You don't say.
Yeah, it's quite shady sounding. The public announcements, everything they have out, the press release, it just uses phrases such as Greater Abilene Area of West Texas, near Abilene, or unincorporated site free of zoning restrictions / free of restrictions / outside municipal zoning jurisdictions. So that's a wordy way to say, hey, we're not going to put it actually where the city of any municipal city can, tell us what to do.
Right.
And where it's going to be, we're not sure. it's not in Abilene for sure, but it may be in Taylor County. It may be in one of the surrounding ones, Callahan, Nolan, whatever.
Sure.
We don't know. It just says it's within a distance of the other AI data centers in the area and near Abilene. But there's no specific address, coordinates, or anything else that are publicly available.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Has the land been acquired?
According to this, yes. Land assembly and acquisition are complete. That's what they said in their press release. But the exact site remains completely private right now. And it says the greater Abilene region, such as Callahan, Shackelford, Nolan. So all we know is that the land is near Abilene and the other data centers. We don't know if it's Taylor County or surrounding. They have refused to say where it is, likely to prevent we the people from saying, hey, it's in this county, let's stop it, like they did in the Callahan County on that other one. So they're not going to tell anybody till they have to, or till they've made deals with whoever the county commissioners are in whichever county. So they're being sneaky from the start.
So we go to the county commissioners for this?
Well, we could ask our commissioners if they know if it's in our county or not, but I don't know that it is in Taylor County because they won't tell us anything. So it may be in one of these other counties that isn't Taylor.
So all these counties have to go to their commissioners and contact them and say, listen, if it's us, we're going to see if you let this thing go through.
And for all I know, they might have bought it under a fake name, the land, to try to hide it. They sound very shady from the start.
Right.
They're trying to go around the ERCOT grid because of Governor Abbott's announcements, which he instructed the Public Utility Commission of Texas and ERCOT to audit all the data centers that are currently looking to hook up to the grid. We know that we talked about that last week. But here's what the one guy, they only have one guy that's even publicly available for Power Play AI. His name's Luke Velatrop.
Yeah.
And he said power has become the defining constraint on AI, talking about now that they're having problems going through ERCOT.
Mm-hmm.
And then they went on to say demand is accelerating faster than the grid can respond, and interconnection queues now stretch into the 2030s. And then he went on to say, so instead of waiting, they're going to say, against that backdrop, Power Play AI is advancing a strategically positioned development where pipelines, policy, and people coverage to drive rapid execution. So that's a wordy way of saying we're going to go around it and try to get through the gas pipelines.
Right.
And, whether it's going to be just like the other data center, which said they have all these things, we'll run off our own power, when in reality, they just have it as a backup in case the grid goes down.
Right.
I don't know, but they're claiming that we're going to do this so we can get around it so that they can't, hold us back.
Now, where are they going to get the gas? Out of the ground?
There's pipelines all over Texas. Now they'll have to make a deal with one of the gas companies, which what that's going to likely do is run our gas prices up.
Yeah. They're still using our resources.
Instead of running the power bill up, instead of our electric bill, it's going to make our gas bill go up. So we'll have both of them coming at us. And then they call it behind the meter power generation solutions. And it's a long BTM is the easier way to say it. But it's just electricity on site at the data center through, the big generators or through the pipelines of gas pipes. But basically, natural gas fired plants or turbines is what they're called. And here's what they are claiming they're going to do. Site feasibility, infrastructure assessment, and land acquisition are complete. The project is in the execution phase, securing natural gas service agreements, which would be gas companies, and selecting an independent power producer, an IPP, which would be the generators and stuff.
Right.
Their target is initial delivery of 400 megawatts by 2028 of behind the meter power. So they go around the grid. And the design relies on on-site natural gas generation rather than ERCOT. We said that, but
yeah.
So the Sharing AI people, they already partnered in the Texas Critical Data Centers TCDC in a place called Ector County in the Permian Basin.
Uh-huh.
And they had initially planned 250 megawatts plus there, and they later got out of it and sold their state and abandoned ship. So right. I don't know what happened to make them sell out, but they don't again, that company has been around only since 2024, and the other one has never been around. They're new, so they both don't sound good.
Right.
And to end all this, at this point, what we have no idea if they actually will use on-site power only, like I said, or they'll have it back up like Stargate did. We don't know where it is going to be located or who we need to protest in order to shut it down. That's by design. Both companies are relatively new, like I said. Both have ties to Australia and not much of anything in America. They will have to eventually announce publicly, what they're, as they move further into this, they're going to have to announce where it's at, and we will get that. And then we got to move immediately to, hopefully they haven't signed on, like I said, made backroom deals with the commissioners ahead of that.
Yep.
Because I wouldn't put it past them. They sound very shady. But we have to get on top of this and stay on top of it, because unless they pull out and decide not to do it for whatever reason, or which I don't think they will, I guess they're not in Abilene, so Abilene City Council can't stop them.
Right.
And whichever the county it's in, it will have to.
The county commissioner will be the one that gives the thumbs up.
And right now, I don't know which county it's in because they won't put the information out.
For people who want to get more information, for our sleuths out there that are going to help us, what information can we give them, Chris, to get them started in researching this project?
Well, I'll put in the comments, I'll put some links to all the things that I went and found all this research.
Yeah.
So that you can go from there.
Be awesome.
And then I'll post it in our America First Abilene page, so they can get this whole thing that I did, my research plus where it came from. So, but it's deeply unpopular. That's been the consensus for a long time. I think right now the recent polls. Well, I didn't mean to open that, but the recent polls show that the rapid expansion of data centers, 61% of people are worried about the amount of water they're using, or worried about the impact on the power grid, or they just don't want them in general. That's 61% of Texans. So that's a pretty big number. That's across, left, right, center, whatever.
Absolutely.
That's why it's not just a one-party issue.
Oh, yeah. But this issue is it's going to cost the Republicans dearly.
Oh, if they don't, and that's why you saw the governor finally do something. But
this current hold that's happening,
as our current Sid Miller, the current agricultural commissioner, said, that's good that he did that, but that's not enough. It's not a moratorium, and it will slow them down a little, but it's not going to stop anything because they'll find ways around it probably.
Yeah,
it will stop some, but it won't stop a lot of them. And a moratorium is what needed to be done for about a year or two we got too many already in the works. Let's just stop and let's figure out how bad this is. And by 2027, we'll see the rise in electric bills and the rise in everything else, and then people are going to have made their mind up by then.
Yeah. But and for people who are not in Texas and not in a state or not in a part of Texas being heavily affected, we are under complete assault. We've got the big AI data center Stargate here in the north of Abilene, and then out in Shackelford County. I drove by there the other day, and that's a huge project going on out there.
Even the RV park on Emdale is crazy.
Indeed.
It looks like a whole city.
And I think we did discuss last time how I had a friend. I mean, the rent has gone up, I think, an average of $1,000 for folks.
According to Zillow. Yep.
And we've had people actually have to move in with friends or go homeless over this. This is not good for the local residents.
No.
These things are like a parasite on our neck. And another one is they're trying to completely take over this beautiful state of Texas, and we're going to fight them every inch of the way. Absolutely.
And they've got, between what's built and what's being built currently, they've got 700 already in Texas. That's way more than enough.
Yeah.
We don't need another one anytime soon.
And for those people out who say it's just going to happen, you just have to let it happen. That's not how you behave. We have the right to self-defense.
Yep.
As individuals and as communities, we've got to come together and fight these things. They're coming in all shady and hiding where they're doing it, and so we just got to watch them like hawks here.
Right.
We're going to continue to watch this project. Thanks, Chris, for doing all the research.
Thanks to that. I'm not going to call his name out, but he knows who he is. So thanks for pointing that out because we didn't know about it initially. So
Indeed. Appreciate all those tips out there. We got sleuths out there helping us do our investigation, and that's where we get a lot of this. This is just something. I guess it takes a village.
Yeah.
So anyway, moving on. The Trump vaccine executive order, which is, I guess we call it a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
There are 3 categories of recommendations to this executive order. Is that correct, Chris? Or basically, can you give us in a nutshell what the executive order is going to do?
I didn't know I was doing that part, but
I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I'm sorry, man, but you basically know.
So they're calling it the gold standard of vaccinations, and that can be argued still.
Yeah.
So there was 18 different vaccines that kids are getting, and it was like 72 doses or injections, whatever you want to call them.
Yes.
Over the course of their childhood.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is saying, hey, we need to get rid of some of these or spread them out.
Yeah.
Or do different things like don't get them all as a cocktail in one time.
Correct.
And it's going to, it on the federal level says, let's go down from the 18 or 19 it was to 11. And so the dose is like from 72 down to roughly 23 to 25 doses or injections or whatever.
Which is helpful.
It's still a lot, but it's in the right direction, and they're saying some of these are unnecessary or they're unsafe or, as a combination, you don't need them.
Yeah.
And so what it means is that's the new federal stance on it, at least as long as till the Democrat or whoever comes in that changes their mind.
Right.
That's where we're at. Now, the problem is it's an executive order and it only is on the federal level. So it doesn't apply to the states necessarily or to the school districts. They can still, require as many shots as they want to get in there. Now, what it does do is lay cover for conservative states for sure to start laying out. In Texas is the one that should go with their legislation and say, hey, we're going to go with what the federal guidelines are, and then change it to where that's all that are required in this state, or any state for that matter. But it will be a state by state thing, just like anything else, really. So it's a good move in the right direction, I'd call it.
Right.
But it doesn't solve all the problems. Now, granted, you can get in Texas, you can get exemptions for all.
Absolutely, yes. You can get exemptions for every vaccine in Texas,
and that's probably still your best route, at least for now.
And I want to say really quickly that,
and we're not medical doctors, but we do a lot of research. Yeah.
Right, and of course, this is what got me into this stuff. 2016, the Abilene Reporter News was saying local doctors recommend pregnant women get vaccinated for the flu, which flu shot is not a vaccine in reality. And it was never tested for safety on pregnant women. Mm-hmm. And for local doctors to be pushing something on pregnant women that was never tested for safety on pregnant women, I thought was more than irresponsible, it's criminal. So that's when I started the Abilene Vaccination Information Network. And to his credit, Brian Bethel, the Abilene Reporter News, gave me an interview. There was a local doctor that spoke up supporting us on that. So. Yeah. They've been lying to you about vaccine safety and efficacy for a long time, folks. For those of you who don't really realize the severity of the problem here and the history of the problem, who think that anti-vaxxers started with Jenny McCarthy and a few, doctors of late, Andrew Wakefield, who is, I have a lot of respect for Dr. Andrew Wakefield, who came from England he now resides in Texas. We're glad to have Dr. Wakefield here. But as far back as 1900, Dr. James Martin Peebles wrote a book called Vaccination, A Curse and a Menace to Personal Liberty, with statistics showing its dangers and criminality. It's a long title. But anti-vaxxers have been around for over 100 years.
Right.
And Dr. Peebles, I did some research on him, very well-traveled and a well-educated man, and he wrote this dire warning about the dangers of he was talking about the smallpox vaccination at the time. Anyway, the Rockefeller family basically took over medical research in the United States. The old man, the patriarch of the family, John D. Rockefeller, he used homeopathic medicine for the last 50 years of his life. So personally, he was homeopathic, but they pushed the drugs on the people when they started the Rockefeller Institute of Medical Research, which evolved into the Rockefeller Institute, and which is now known as Rockefeller University. So a rich, powerful family who privately used homeopathic medicine wanted to push their petroleum-based products on you because they basically had a monopoly in the petroleum industry. So that's your history on vaccines. And to their credit, Texans for Vaccine Choice here in our great state was...
That's what they said. If you want to see their statement.
Well, I just want to say first, Texans for Vaccine Choice, through their action, exemptions are easier than ever to get here in Texas. For those of you who the school is trying to press you that they have requirements for your child in school, it is complete baloney. You can now, thanks to this organization, you can print those exemptions from your own home, take them and fill out the form, get it notarized at the bank, and go hand it to your school nurse. It is streamlined. It's never been easier in Texas to exempt your child from vaccines.
Yeah.
And as far as Texans here, Chris has handed me the statement from them for Texans for Vaccine Choice on this executive order Trump just signed. And it admits it does not change the Texas laws. And certain Texans be subjected to vaccine mandates. It's still going to happen. And it doesn't eliminate state-level vaccine requirements. But it is a move in the right direction.
Yeah, and I think the first paragraph kind of says that.
Okay. Moving federal vaccine policy toward greater parental choice, informed consent, vaccine safety, and flexibility. And that is progress we welcome, they said. And we agree. It's moving in the right direction. We've got to keep hammering away at this thing. I will say it's progress.
Yeah, it's a good thing. And, Trump and the administration can't dictate on the state level what they do. He doesn't have that power.
Right.
It's a states' rights issue. But, for what he can do, this is good. I think more should come too eventually. But, it's a step in the right direction, and we should give him credit where credit's due.
Indeed.
But, yeah.
And I guess if we're going to talk about health for just a minute, Fauci's miscarriage of public health.
Oh, this one is a lot more sickening.
We're going to talk about Dr. Anthony Fauci here.
So Ron Johnson, the senator from Wisconsin, he put out the email. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. It said, this is an email from Dr. Fauci on January 25th, 2021. And it said, I asked around a bit more and another issue came up that we need to be aware of. Since many people have significant cytokines right there?
Cytokine?
Yeah, storm and fever after the second dose of the jab. This theoretically, he said, could be associated with miscarriage in the first trimester. And that was sent with priority. So whoever he sent to is blacked out, so we can't see who he sent.
It's a private email from Fauci admitting that there was a theoretical danger
linked,
to pregnant women
and causing miscarriages when that happened. So knowing that, then you have, and we're going to play just the audio right now. It should pick it up on my speaker. This is Anthony Fauci 7 months later on August 30th, 2021. And he really said this.
Obstetrics and got vaccinated. However, when you look at the unvaccinated versus the vaccinated, there is absolutely no increased risk of that. So because of that, the CDC and the ACOG, the American College of Obstetrics and Gynecology, who used to say it is okay for pregnant women to get vaccinated, to change now and say it is recommended pregnant women get vaccinated. So it's really one of those things that's kind of not a close call. It really is pretty clear that pregnant women should get vaccinated.
Well, I was serving in the White House when Dr. Anthony Fauci.
So he basically said there's no reason to worry. There's no red flags or nothing that could even cause it. While privately he's emailing, hey, theoretically this is causing miscarriages, but still they pushed it. And even as we looked up a while ago, when the vaccine first came out, I don't even like to use the word vaccine. When the jab first came out, it said clearly this is not necessarily safe for pregnant women, because they hadn't tested it like anything new.
And as we discussed, even on the disclaimer for the normal flu vaccine, it admitted this product has not been tested for safety on pregnant women. And
it wasn't just Fauci. You remember Rochelle Walensky, the CDC person? She said, importantly, no safety concerns were observed for people vaccinated in the third trimester and blah, 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 and safety concerns for their babies. So they completely covered the whole thing up from the start. Again, this is another thing where Fauci lied and kids died.
Right.
Unnecessarily. So
I think it boils down to, folks, keep at it. We're making moves in the right direction on medical freedom. These are criminals that have been calling the shots. Parents need to call the shots. And a lot of them just aren't aware that they have these rights. And because school districts send you the letter and it seems to pressure you that these are requirements, you better exercise your rights or you're going to lose them when it comes to medical freedom here.
Right. And MTG, I know she's a controversial figure now, but she's very America first.
I love her.
And she said about all this when it came out, this is the most infuriating thing. Fauci knew COVID shots caused miscarriages and still forced the shots. Fauci belongs in prison. I couldn't agree more.
Indeed. Someone said they wouldn't vote for a woman because they're too moody. I said, Marjorie Taylor Greene, baby.
Yeah.
I would vote for her in a heartbeat. I think you liked that comment, Chris. Thanks for your support. That discussion. And now, maybe to get to some good news about the rise of America First.
Yes.
So it looks like the MAGA movement sort of lost steam, lost direction and purpose. I think its original purpose was America First.
Yeah, I would agree.
So Rich Barris did a poll asking conservatives which way they lean, toward MAGA or America First.
Yeah, kind of like, if you identify yourself, do you choose America First or MAGA? Which way do you identify? And then go ahead if you want.
I think the numbers I don't have all the numbers, Chris, but you were telling me that even if the boomer generation,
yes,
53% of them said that they would identify as America First.
Yeah, 53% said I identify as America First, and 47% said MAGA. So it's still close, but that's the first time in the history of this guy's polling, Rich Barris, that the boomer generation had ever said, well, more people identified as America First over MAGA.
Right.
So that's a change. Now, in the Gen Z, which is, of course, the younger voters, which is expected, it's 80% or 4-1 margin that they're America First over.
Right.
Which is, again, the youth is gone from MAGA. That's been the case for a while now. The wars and the Epstein stuff and whatever else has driven the young people out. That's just a fact. I don't like it, but that's the truth. And so they're gone. They've already moved to America First. That's what it's saying, though, is people are putting the America First movement first. Our country over other countries. Stop giving all the foreign money, foreign aid, foreign support to wars. We don't want any of that. Do what's best for American and their taxpayers. And now it's the youngest people by a lot, and it kind of goes down as you go. But even right now, 53% of the boomers say, hey, I'm America First. And that's a big deal.
Right.
Because it wasn't that way before.
Right. September 11th, witness Chris Harlan says America First.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, man. And for those of you not aware, Chris Harlan here, my friend, witnessed the 9/11 attacks, and that is just kind of another wormhole to look into how deep this thing is, and the kind of urgency with which Chris come to you each week.
And I got a chance to go back and watch the entire interview and listen to it all, and it was great.
Oh man, Chris, you did a knockout job, man. Thanks, Chris, for watching that. And amazing story from Chris Harlan if you haven't heard that interview yet. But anyways, talking about this poll, and it's not that this isn't about Trump anymore.
No,
I think you would say America First was really predates MAGA.
for sure. I'd go. I mean, it can go back way even before what I would consider, but I'd say the whole Ron Paul revolution movement was America First.
Absolutely.
It was about staying out of foreign wars. It was about doing what's best for America, getting rid of the Federal Reserve, all things that are America First, literally. And I'd say that movement was for sure the Ron Paul days, 2008, 2012. And then,
Yep.
but even before that, you can go back. They had like hundreds of chapters back in I don't know the exact date, but it was way back when, and it got shut down because they accused them of being anti-Semites. So
Yeah.
some things never change, I guess. But
Ron Paul, sabotaged by Fox News and the conservative establishment. When he imagined how history might have been different if we would actually got an America First, bring the troops home,
yeah,
a candidate like Ron Paul elected. It's a real shame.
well, they would have probably tried to end him.
Exactly. He was a controversial figure. He is the last presidential candidate I voted for. I'm just going to say Ron Paul. And I was sitting right here in this kitchen talking to a friend one night, and she said she saw the Ron Paul stickers around, and she goes, and we weren't even talking about politics. She said, Ron Paul, she goes, I think he may have delivered my son. And sure enough, we put it together. He was a doctor in the area where she had children. He delivered thousands of babies.
Yeah.
The guy is a hero, both professionally and politically. And, Rand Paul, I got to, hats off to him. I guess they're going to hold Fauci in contempt of court for using the plea of the Fifth Amendment 111 times during his questioning by Senate.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we're not going to hold our breath waiting for Fauci to go to jail.
I don't have a lot of confidence in this administration to actually go all the way through and prosecute and win and put somebody in prison that deserves it. So we'll see.
I say we give Fauci the Napoleon option of exile.
Well, I will say there's some AGs out there, like the Florida one, who's coming hard for him on the state level, and that his pardons don't work there.
Yes.
So that would be interesting. I don't know what he has in the way of crimes, but on the docket. But I'm probably going to write an article about that this month. But
please do, Chris. Yeah, that attorney general there in Florida, a hero in a lot of ways.
And I'm sure Paxton will be right behind him if there's anything to pass like that. He would do it too.
Yeah,
because he's come after Fauci several times.
Yes. Hats off to Paxton for that. Let me see here. Flock surveillance at gun ranges, Chris.
Yeah, well, it's there. So there's been a pushback, like with data centers and the THC bans and all that. There's been pushback from all sides, conservative, left, right, independent, whatever you want to call it, on the flock cameras. And so there was a gun store, Eagle Sports Range is what it was called in Wisconsin. And they said, this is their press release, Eagle Sports Range is and always will be the community, for the community and with the community. Now, they had already signed on to be one of the private people to have the flock thing in the first place. Keep that in mind. But it said a video recently went viral regarding flock cameras on our facility. It's true, we did have them. We installed the cameras because other ranges in the greater Milwaukee area had been broken into. Our only intention was to deter criminal activity and protect the customers and their property. We had no idea that the system would later be used in ways that raised serious privacy concerns. In February 2026, we contacted Flock and asked them to remove the cameras. They responded that we were under the contractual obligation to keep them in place. After the video circulated, we made a clear decision. We care more about the privacy of our customers than we do a contract. We took every Flock camera down. We will deal with Flock and the contract on our own time. For now, the cameras are gone. Everyone at Eagle Sports Range remains committed to serving our community without compromising anyone's rights. Sincerely, Eagle Sports Range.
Interesting. Hats off to Eagle Sports Range.
So they did the right thing eventually, but the part that you might have missed in there is Flock, the company, said, hey, we've got you under contract. You can't take them down. We don't allow you to take them down.
Right.
Now they ended up saying they took them down anyway, and they're just going to go to court, I guess. But the fact that the flock camera systems now are actually refusing to remove and disconnect, it should be a bigger issue.
I'd like to see that contract.
Right. That would be good to release it. But this comes right on the heels of, in Brookville, Wisconsin, they held 2 people at gunpoint with them. The cops pulled them over on I-94 because the flock cameras had identified the car and the people in it as murder suspects.
Yes, I was going to say, on one hand, I'd like to say, okay, let's pass a law that the flock cameras, you can leave them up, but use them only for finding missing children and stopping human trafficking. But at the same time, they're most likely going to be used to I hope it doesn't happen, but you might see somebody killed in one of these incidents.
That's what John Rich, if you know the country music artist, I think he was like, save a horse, ride a cowboy. That was his one.
Right.
That's his famous one anyway. Now he's a lot more conservative. But he said, we better outlaw flock systems before someone loses their life. This is insanity. And this comes also today even. Scott Pressler, he's one of the big get out the vote people. He helped get rid of John Cornyn here and some other stuff. He said, all his social medias, he goes, should the Republican Party make it a priority to ban flock cameras? The obvious answer is yes, but because again, this is an issue that right now Republicans are conceding to Democrats more than they should be.
Right.
Same with the data centers. Now there are Republicans speaking out against all these things, but it should be more of us, and it should be a bigger party-wide level thing.
The Republican Party, if you're a conservative, you should be for freedom and against the surveillance state.
Yeah.
And being for freedom would be going against this insane THC ban we have going in Texas right now.
Yeah. And I plan to probably put Taylor County resolutions out for all 3 of these things. We don't have a resolution committee currently that's standing because dumb crap that's going on within the party. But either way, I'm going to force the issue as much as I can to get them out there and make these people, if they don't agree, make them vote, and I'll come back and report you who voted against all these things so we know.
Yeah, put them on record for not being real conservatives.
Right. Because not one of these is in the conservative interest. They're either unconstitutional, an invasion of your privacy, or both, or just a bad for the country, like the data centers. We don't need that many data centers. We never did.
And why do the flock companies have this obsession with gun ranges?
Well,
they're watching gun ranges in the middle of nowhere.
Right. Well, that's because they're going to see every gun owner that comes in, and document it through your license and through your facial recognition, all that.
So the government has this very keen interest in who owns guns and who is becoming adept at using them.
Yep.
That's not creepy at all, huh, Chris?
I wouldn't be surprised if they don't try to put them at outside convention centers and stuff that host the gun shows, because
oh my goodness,
there's loopholes there that you can actually go get a gun without registering them there.
Yeah.
So that would be the ones they really want to get a hold of.
Right.
But as far as taking your rights away, I am against all of these, and they need to go.
Well, this is Orwellian beyond description.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, people like me sometimes want to say, I want to stop child trafficking. Let's use them for that. I get the feeling that they're not going to be used for that, and that the child traffickers are some of the people that are putting up the flock cameras.
And to be clear, there's cameras other places other than flock ones.
Yes, we don't become obsessed.
Walmart has hundreds of cameras on top of their buildings here, so we don't need them to be at every traffic light and everywhere else following you throughout your movements.
Right. Now, I mean, when cameras are used to stop a crime or to solve a crime, I tend to, go along with it. Like, I know cameras in Walmart parking lots. Do we have any information really that, or numbers about how much crime they stop?
No.
And how much they're just surveilling the American public?
I know they had stopped one in Abilene, which is attempted kidnapping a long time ago, but, or they got them on camera and then got them pretty quick. But again, that was not flock cameras. That was just what was on top of the building. It was shooting down at them.
Now, I do suggest all private residences Put up doorbell cams,
Yeah.
cameras all over your private property, because we need to watch our own communities and keep our own kids safe, and that's part of the way you do that.
Yeah. But don't be recording and tracking everything people are doing all the way throughout their day. That's a different.
Right.
And, you can, the people that argue, oh, well, I'd give up my security or my freedoms, or no, there is no security that you should ever give up. There's no basic liberties you should give up for temporary security. That's Ben Franklin.
Ben Franklin. Those who would give up their liberty for security deserve neither.
Yes.
So we got to take action. Where are we at? Do we know yet on Abilene? Or what are we doing about the Abilene flock cameras, Chris?
Well, the news came out and, exposed them for having the police. The APD had 15, 13, something like that. And there's 30 total, counting the private business ones. Well, the APD didn't like the press that came in the news and all the pushback. And so they told, oh, don't worry. We're not tracking anybody. We're not doing this. We're not doing that. No need to worry, which is the same thing many police have said all over the country. And then it turns out they have bad cops using them to stalk their ex-girlfriends or whatever they're doing. And then more than just the cops, it's the NGOs that can get in there and look and
absolutely
track.
Yeah, my top concern, I know a lot of Abilene police officers are good people. A lot of them are good people, but they're not the ones watching the cameras. That data is later accessed if they are trying to pursue a criminal. Our main concern, I think, are the private companies, and like you said, the NGOs that have access to all this data that they're collecting on the American person.
Yeah, well, I'm against them in general, but yes.
Lee Jacobson reports that all his weapons were lost in a boat crash. We're sorry to hear that, Lee.
Yep, you heard it here first. He has no weapons. But, yeah, I'm sure Lee's very much against that too, the flock cameras. But if you're a conservative, you almost have to be, because it is a complete invasion of your privacy.
Right. I try to be an optimist, like I say. It'd be nice if we could find some missing kids with them.
I'm sure on occasion, it makes the job of the police easier. But that, again, I'm not willing to give up my essential liberties for a little bit more security. So
yes. George Orwell wrote a little book about this a long time ago, warning us about all this. So
right. We
better pay attention.
Because if you think what they're doing now with the flock cameras is the end of the road, you haven't seen anything yet.
Exactly.
It's going to get worse and worse and tracked and be more invasive. They've already got a higher version of the standalone flock camera that they claim is just doing the license plates. They've got one that'll literally turn and follow you as you're walking already. So, it's just a matter of all the update would take is a program.
Right.
It's nothing.
And, okay, so if I could skip back to the rise of America First really quick here, Chris. We're talking about the numbers turning around. Even the boomers are catching on that we have to get back to basics and taking care of our own neighborhood first before we try to take care of the rest of the world. That's basically what America First stands for. A big part of that, as you said, goes back to the Ron Paul revolution and the anti-war stance. It's less anti-war, I guess, because we're sure going to fight if we're threatened.
Right. There are situations, and Ron Paul even said, look, if there's a situation that calls for it, if we've been attacked, if there's one known enemy, then go in, blow them up, and get out. None of these forever wars, none of the 10 years in Iraq or 20 years in Afghanistan, or none of that. Hit your target and get your butt back to America and quit trying to fund foreign wars.
Yes.
And that's the completely different thing than, just hitting the target and getting out of there. That's not what that means. So you're right. It's not anti-war. It's putting America first and not getting sucked into these forever wars, which, of course, with the one we're currently in, they told us, hey, it'll be over quick. It's 4 weeks. We're going to get regime change. And then they blew up and killed the first wave of the Iran people. And look, see, it's working. Well, they put more in and more in. They've got many others. That's not going to work. Iran is a country you can't just affect a regime change that easily. So that went out the window, and then it became, they have nukes again, even though, we spent all of 2025 with Project, what is it, Hammer?
Midnight Hammer.
Yeah, Midnight Hammer, and according to Trump and everyone else, we set them back 20 plus years on their nuclear ambitions, but then all of a sudden, like clockwork, Mr. Bibi, hey, they're 2 months away. We got to do something. Like they've been 2 months away for 25 years.
Yeah.
It's nonsense. So
China, Russia have nukes. India, Pakistan.
And again, I'm not even against Israel doing, if they've got a legitimate reason to go to war and doing whatever, it just shouldn't be funded by us, and we shouldn't be involved in it.
Correct.
And then the whole Gaza thing's a different situation, but I'm talking about just if they have a legitimate reason to go in and do something. I'm not saying they can't defend themselves. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying we have no business over there, no interest in it.
And Israel has no business taking over our military.
Yeah, that's still nothing's happened with that yet, but they might try to sneak it through any minute. So
yes, that has yet to come to the Senate.
No, yeah, they're still holding it, blocking it in the Senate right now.
Right.
But they've tried to tag the Save America Act with it to make it more palatable.
Yes.
When that should be passed as a standalone.
Absolutely. You talk about sneaking in a Trojan horse.
Yeah, that's 100% what it is.
And
on that oil thing, while we're here.
Yeah, I was going to mention.
Go ahead.
Well, you were informing me earlier the oil reserves in the United States are reported to be the lowest since 1982.
Right. They're right now the strategic oil reserves, which that's the oil that we store as a country for our own needs, is down to 298 million barrels. And that's the only time it was a little lower than that is on August 27, 1982.
Yeah.
So that's a problem. And right now, I'm sure we're releasing some of that to help stimulate the gas prices that have raised because of the war, which has caused high gas prices. And that's what they do. They'll let it out, periodically. And you can even see in the chart, and I'll put the chart up there in the comments too, but there's a big dip right here at 2026 where it goes up again. And everything I know about it is it's because of the war that, they shut the strait down. Oil can't get through. The oil markets all over the country and oil companies are raising their prices. They're taking advantage of the situation.
Yes.
And so as a result, we tried to release some of the barrels to bring it down. And it did bring it down temporarily, but then the deal fell apart and they realized the war is not ending. So it went right back up again.
And as always, with war, a certain few benefit while the rest of us suffer.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen the full impact of the suffering yet. Chris Harlan comments he has 4 closed-circuit TVs or closed-circuit cameras. I guess it is residents there in Jersey. He's our 9/11 witness.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, that protecting your own stuff, I'm 100% behind that.
Me too, big time.
You should record your own, for your own personal security, but that's much different than what we're talking about with Flock.
And next time I talk to Chris, I'm going to ask him, is there a lot of crime there? What's going on? That probably goes without saying in a big urban area like that. But whatever you need to put up, man, on private property, because you're not going to spy. You're not going to put that. You're not going to take that data and use that along with other data you collect on a person to set up a profile on them.
Yeah, and you can't track people's movement with that, other than maybe you catch them on a ring cam or something driving by you, but you don't know where they came from or where they're going.
Yeah, it's for your own security, and we encourage people to put up all the cameras you can on your private property.
Yep.
That might be the key. Maybe we could set up our own citizen surveillance networks to catch these child predators.
Well, I've seen many of people go in front of the city councils and the police chiefs around Texas and everywhere else and say, hey, we're going to get a drone or we're going to do this, and we're putting one right outside your residence, and everywhere you move, we're going to track your movements. And, of course, they don't like that, but
correct.
They sure signed on to give up our rights.
Right. But I think with the Epstein scandal looming in the background, the public has a giant distrust of government, just as Fauci's criminality is a reason people have a giant distrust in the medical establishment. But for people, and do you have anything else, Chris, before I briefly...
Other than unless you see anything you need to address on there, but I can't see it very well.
Let's see here. No, I think we're good for now.
Okay.
Thank y'all for your input out there. Thanks for watching. And I want to say at the end here, something that chills me to my core. as we talk about the Jeffrey Epstein files, and they've not all been released. There's still a lot of mystery to that case. Before the Epstein files, there was the Franklin scandal in Nebraska. And you might, when you're going through your reels, people, I know I see a lot of these hardcore investigators. Mm-hmm. One of them is Ted Gunderson. And Ted Gunderson, I'll tell you something, this guy, you hear him, and he sounds absolutely cuckoo. He would get up there and say, satanic pedophile rings are kidnapping children and using the activities with them to blackmail politicians. Ted Gunderson is a guy you'll probably come across in your research of this subject. Now, Ted Gunderson, although he sounded wild and crazy, just 10 seconds of research. The guy was a FBI head in 3 major cities. Mm-hmm. He was one of a handful of people interviewed to be FBI director of the United States of America. That is Ted Gunderson. Look this guy up. He warned us about everything from government surveillance, child trafficking, chemtrails, a lot of stuff that you were considered a conspiracy theorist if you talked about it. Look at the resume of Ted Gunderson.
Was he ever on the Alex Jones show? Because I feel like he was.
Yes. Well, I'm pretty certain he was. Yes.
That's where I think I remember first seeing him. Probably was on the Alex Jones show.
Mm-hmm. And the last talk I heard posted from Gunderson, he's now deceased. He spoke about the case of the Franklin scandal, where children were taken from orphanages and sexually abused. Mm-hmm. That was filmed by a photographer named Rusty Nelson. Rusty Nelson was in contact with the investigator of the Franklin Credit Union scandal. Gary Caradori was that investigator. Now, he took a little plane ride with his son to Chicago. While there, he was in possession of these photos given to him by Rusty Nelson. On his flight back to Nebraska, the plane disintegrated in the air. The photographs were scattered, and the FBI came to the scene of the crash and confiscated all the photos. And Ted Gunderson made a great point there. He said, why would the FBI come and lock down the crash scene of a civilian pilot? He said, bottom line there is a cover-up. This goes a lot deeper than Jeffrey Epstein, folks. Getting the rest of those files is critical, but we really have a problem in this country with an establishment that is above the law, and they're able to simply kill anyone who's trying to get to the bottom of their activities. And that is Gary Caradori. Rest in peace.
And to answer my own question, on April 21st, 2010, he was on Alex Jones' show talking about the Oklahoma City bombing. Yes. And he also did a hospital bed interview later with him, like one of his last interviews, I guess.
Oh, wow. That'd be interesting to look up. And I would say, well, when it comes to that scandal, to this child trafficking scandal, Ted Gunderson is critical. The Franklin cover-up, written by John DeCamp, is critical research to do there. And as far as the Oklahoma City bombing, my goodness, that's a whole other show.
Yeah.
I mean, it's another 9/11, ladies and gentlemen. It was a false flag terror event used to blame militias, conservatives. And anyway, I think we really should do a show just on false flags. Oklahoma City, if you're not aware, local news coverage stated that bombs were found inside the Murrah building there in Oklahoma City. And the bombs, at least a couple of them, were removed. The official story is that, what was his name? Timothy McVeigh parked a U-Haul truck in front of the building and detonated a fertilizer bomb and did this immense damage to the building. Those stories about bombs found inside the building sort of evaporated. The local news stayed on the case for a little bit, but the national news wouldn't carry that information.
No.
If bombs were found inside the Murrah building, federal building in Oklahoma City, that completely destroys the official story that it was a truck bomb.
And then there was multiple reports of 2 drivers and all that. But
Yeah, John Doe suspect. I think it was the Army munitions expert, General Ben Parton, went down there to Oklahoma City, looked at the damage to the building, and concluded pretty quickly that bombs had to have been inside the building to cause that kind of damage.
Mm-hmm.
And a daycare was destroyed, killing a lot of children, and that really worked up a lot of a public outcry for the federal government to get more power and crack down on militias and the private citizen.
Yep. Well, like you said, that's probably a whole show unto itself.
It is. I'd like to cover Oklahoma City more. Any other topics y'all want us to cover, please send them our way. We want to thank Chris, Lee, and others for watching.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
We missed the governor, the Massachusetts governor.
Okay, yeah, I guess we should get that dark news.
So I hate to end it this way, but the Massachusetts governor, Maura Healey, Democrat, shocking, just passed an executive order basically getting rid of all the rules. And now, according to that, the rules and regulations are gone when it comes to abortion. So for any reason, a doctor now can say, for any reason during any point in the pregnancy, they can go ahead and do the abortion. So that means, in theory, 8.5 months in, say the woman, her husband or boyfriend or whatever says, I'm out and I don't care, I'm not doing anything to do with this. Well, she can go to her doctor and say, my mental health is bad, I don't want this baby, abort it, And in theory, he can do it. If you find it, and there's quacks out there that love doing abortions, so
right,
that you're literally, if you could, however you fall on that line, and I am pro-life, but even if you say, well, there should be a certain reasons or certain points or whatever you're trying to say, we're talking this could happen up until right before the pregnancy with a perfectly viable baby had you just brought it out.
Right.
That is murder, period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that.
I agree.
And by that time, if there's a problem where it's going to affect the baby or the baby's not going to live or the mother or whatever, all the reasonings that you might try to make the argument, those don't apply for this. And that is horrible.
Indeed. That's, like you say, a completely viable child.
Yes. And it could be a 100% healthy child that for whatever reason, or no reason at all, there are no regulations, they don't have to meet a certain criteria. It's just the doctor says, yes, I'll do it. And they can do it now.
Absolutely.
Up until the day before birth.
Right. And, I was telling you earlier, I'm a little reluctant to want to pursue action legally about abortion. I am against abortion, but I would like to lean toward, I think conservatives should really try to support and push alternatives like community support, adoption, and those sorts of things over, really pursuing legal action against women whose medical situation might be complicated. That comes from a guy that I worked for Planned Parenthood for a stint back when I flirted with liberalism when I was younger. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you, these doctors don't care about you. No. The abortions aren't healthy.
And the ones that just do abortions all day long, who don't care about that and don't lose any sleep, they're not going to say they wouldn't do it. And it doesn't say you have to find your personal doctor or 3 doctors to agree or nothing. It says one doctor, your personal physician, or whoever wants to do the thing can do it.
Right. And, of course, doctors used to take what was called the Hippocratic Oath.
Yeah.
What is going on with that when in Massachusetts, I guess, could a doctor be held liable if their professional opinion basically results in the death of a completely viable?
Well, they should be, but they won't be under the new law there.
That is completely
They can
absurd.
literally do it. It could be ready to, I guess. In theory, you could do it up until her water breaks or labor starts, as long as the baby hasn't come out.
Right.
If it's not born, then it's still the pregnancy. It's still any point during the pregnancy. So
Right.
you could kill it right there.
Yeah, there's a lot of concerns with this. And, of course, we're America First here. But I would say first, we're Team Humanity.
Yeah.
And
There's nothing humane. That's evil. If you're willing to take a baby that could survive fully on its own and with a perfectly healthy mom or whatever, even if she has mental issues, that's not a good enough reason to murder a baby.
right.
Get the mother help and get the baby out of there and get it adopted or whatever you're going to do. And there's other ways to do it. That's crazy.
It's been a struggle for humanity in a long time in this country. Eugenics, people talk about Hitler's eugenics in Germany. He got those ideas from American eugenicists, like the founder of Planned Parenthood, Margaret Sanger.
A devout racist and into major, what's the word? Eugenics, like you said.
Eugenicist, yes. And also, if you go back, I'm trying to recall the name of the movie, and I will find it. I'll put it in the comments. But a movie back in the 30s, eugenics was still a popular idea. Hitler had not poo-pooed all over the thing and did horrible public relations for it yet.
Mm-hmm.
So sterilization was being practiced right here in the United States.
Yeah, 100%.
Tomorrow's Children, I think, is the name of that film. If I'm incorrect, please let me know. I will look into it and put it in the comments if that's not right. But it's kind of, we come from a creepy history here with eugenics. Nope. And human life has value. So I think doctors killing a completely viable child are violating the Hippocratic Oath. And, of course, morality.
Yeah. But it's just, this is not a great way to end it because this is a bad note, but we almost missed that, and it's worth weighing in on at least.
And the women signing the order and giggling and laughing and clapping.
Evil, like I said.
Yeah.
We're celebrating their right to murder babies at any point.
Up till birth. Yeah, that's absurd. But
for any reason.
Indeed.
But yeah,
But to recap, we've got to take action and look at this new data center coming into Abilene, and also look at what we can do to mitigate the damage that the ones we already have are going to do. Keep pushing on medical freedom. Practice your parental rights. And if you need any help with obtaining an exemption form, we're happy to help you with that. Texans for Vaccine Choice is a great resource to find out about your medical freedom and your rights. Please join us at America First Abilene. Follow Chris and I. We're coming at you with a bunch of, it's heating up here in the Abilene area, and in Texas, when it comes, I'm not care if you're talking about THC vaccines or what we're going to do about truly being America First. We got to look into see how much money exactly Texas alone gives to the nation of Israel. I think we should look at that. A lot of folks in Texas here, I've been to some churches, they'll have the Star of David flag on one side of the stage and the American flag on the other. Folks, you've got to break your conditioning because our greatest ally may not be so great after all. Be watching out for this Senate, the developing Section 219 of the National Defense Authorization Act, soon to come to the Senate.
This is not something we need to get into a big topic today, but I saw it. Rand Paul went to the Fort Knox and said, hey, I got an inside look and all the gold is still there today.
For real?
That's what he said on X. We'll look into that more and see if the claims. I saw several people saying, well, unless you filmed it, I don't believe that.
Yeah.
And his dad doesn't believe it's there either.
Wow.
But yeah, I just now thought of that. But
that's very interesting.
We'll comment on that next week.
Rand Paul claims Fort Knox still has gold.
174 million or billion or whatever in gold.
Well, I hope he had some time to count all that.
I don't know. He said he saw it.
Interesting, Rand Paul. Well, we hope you're right.
Yeah. I think it's been moved out a long time ago. But
a lot of folks have said that for a long time. Anyway, coming back at you soon. Thanks for watching. America First Abilene. Come join us, and we'll talk to you soon.
See you later.